Welcome to Conscious TV. I'm Ian McNay, and today we're going to talk about the Enneagram. And we have with us Padma from Germany. Hi, Padma. And the Enneagram is a very fascinating system of what I would call classifying different personality types. And it's something I've got a lot of value out over the years. And we're going to have a good in-depth discussion, and hopefully a very practical discussion with Padma about it. So, Padma, when did you first hear about the Enneagram?
Well, I first heard about it probably some 17 years ago or so. Because I know that it's 15 years ago by now that I started working with my main Enneagram teacher, Eli Jackson Bear. And it was probably some 1 or 2 years before that that actually my boyfriend at the time gave me a book of Helen Palmer, but that was still in a context of kind of saying, well, look, you're that type, and that's why we're not getting along.
So hang on. So you had a fight with your boyfriend, and he
Kind of.
he
Well, we
gave
had
you
a
a
hard
book.
time at that time
Yeah,
anyway. I mean, obviously
yeah.
he's not my boyfriend anymore, so yeah. So we didn't get along all perfectly, and yeah, he gave me this book. He thought it, well, of course, innocently, from his perspective, he thought that might help, that might help sort me out, so I would be easier to get along with for him.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, of course, I understand. Didn't really work well for me though, because of
Right.
course,
Yeah.
and then in addition to that, coming from the personality structure that was running here, which of course that's what we do, we filter everything through that, whichever way that is, of perceiving, interpreting, and reacting to the world. And in my case, that was, oh, okay, so that's what's wrong with me. And again, he's pointing out what's wrong with me and what I need to fix. And so that basically just kind of added to the confusion and suffering rather than help me out of it.
On the other hand, it's quite natural, and most people think that if
Yeah,
something's not working in the
of course.
relationship, it's the other person's
To
fault.
blame the other one.
And if they can understand and fix it from there,
Yeah.
then they're all okay
Yeah,
themselves.
then I can be happy. If
That's
only you can be
right.
perfect and match my needs.
It's not quite as simple as that, though, is it?
Not quite, because
Yeah.
then the other one wants to have a say too, you see.
So, okay, so you got the book on the Enneagram and you read it and it made some sense to you.
It did, yeah,
And
it
you
certainly
understood
did.
more about yourself after that, did you?
Well, yes, I did. I did find that helpful too already, I have to admit. Okay. So there were certain issues where I thought, wow. Although I have to also say that at that time I actually mistook my Enya type. Because my partner
Okay.
pointed out to me that I was a number one, and I thought that made sense too. And I mean, it does. Also, now in retrospect, I can say after these 15 years that I've been learning the Enneagram in depth now, that yes, of course, that is also part of my structure. That as this is really a number four structure, it is all wrapped around the one structure. So maybe in a way I could say it was even a little more shocking to see, because that one structure, of course, revealed to me immediately all that my structure as a four really avoids. As the four is really a way of just not being a one, just
Okay.
everything but not a
So
one.
just to clarify for people watching who don't know
Yeah,
anything about the
yeah,
Enneagram, there's basically 9 different types, and we'll go into the details of those later.
yeah.
And it can be a little bit of an art finding your own type, can't it?
Oh
So,
yeah, and as I said,
yeah,
I mistook it first, and
yeah,
I know a lot of people who mistake it, and I know a lot of people who have been mistaken by really good teachers for years.
yes.
So I think it makes a lot of sense to just stay open to finding out, you
Okay.
know?
So what's the next step for people, if you like?
What's the
So
next step?
they're watching this program on the Enneagram, and they're maybe a little bit intrigued to find out
Yeah,
more. So I think you said earlier, there's three basic movements we
yeah,
have.
yeah. There are these three basic, right? So the Enneagram is basically what Enneagram means is just that it's a symbol with 9 corners.
Okay.
Ennea, 9 in Greek. So there's 9 points on the Enneagram. But the way it is shaped, it's not like equal, an equal shape, but it's there's a center triangle. And then there are 2 points to each corner. And maybe we can speak about that structure later because it really does make a lot of sense. I often then hear people say, oh, but why is it not symmetrical? You know, and that does have its meaning, and it's very revealing actually to also see the dynamic along these lines. Then very useful to work with the Enneagram that way. but I like to start by simple,
Okay.
by the simple basic structure of this inner triangle, which, as we can say, there's like from the appearance, when we kind of, a lot of people know that when they enter a deep meditative state, or they're just out in nature somewhere, and I disappear. They're not busy with I, me, mine. There's just nothing there. And there is a deep sense of just being there, of happiness and a love to everything and peace. And so these are the three essential qualities, we could say. It's like out of nothing, that's what appears. Also, when we come out of meditation, that's
Okay, but for
the essence
for
of what
people that
arises.
aren't necessarily
Okay.
aware of the wider picture of how things fit together, there's what you're saying is it comes out of nothing,
Yeah.
which makes sense, yeah. And then there's a structure comes out of nothing,
Yeah.
and then out of that structure we have our own experiences that we build our personality from, we build
Okay.
our ego structure from. Is that what you say how it
Yeah,
works?
which I was taking the long way around to
Okay.
get there.
Yeah.
So these 3 points, these
Yeah.
three core points on the Enneagram describe both these natural states of essence, which is awareness, peace, and love,
Yes.
or bliss. And then as we identify as a physical, emotional, and mental somebody, there are certain movements to that,
Okay.
which cloud, so to say, or overlay or overshadow these essential qualities. So that is from awareness of just being. When I identify as a physical body, there is a movement against. So it seems like I am this body and there are other things, there's the world out there. And there is a tendency to move against whatever it is to survive, basically, to push out of my way whatever seems to be in my way for this organism to make its way through the world. So there we have this movement against, which is, if you feel it, it's a very physical movement, and it's associated with anger. There's this
Okay.
angry push against to make sure that I get what I need and I get out of my way what seems to disturb me.
And we all feel that at times if we're in a hurry to get somewhere or we have to
Yes,
make something
for
happen.
example.
And
Yeah, right. So everybody has all those three essential qualities and all those three veils of the physical body, the emotional, the mental body, and the movements that come with those. And in the emotional body, somehow, paradoxically, that veils love. Because if I identify myself as this limited somebody with my emotions, somehow suddenly I seem to be cut off.